8, 7, 6,
12, 11, 10. What, baby?
Hey, folks, how's it going? Another Monday night. Somebody give me a sound check out there. I'd appreciate it. I got a different setup on my mic here tonight. Want to make sure it sounds good. Looks like we got a lot of regular folks in the house. I appreciate you guys being here. Tammy Joe's with us. All right. Says hello to everyone. Michael Obern's here, I know. Chris is in the house. Thank you, Chris, for the sound check, buddy. I got a new setup on my mic here. I had to get it out of the way from last week when it was in my way. Michael Obern's with us. Thank you for the sound check, sir. Want to get right into it here. We had a loss in our community this week that I wanted to bring up right off the bat. Our little buddy there, Mr. Bubba, he left us this week, but praying for Lori and hoping everything's all right. We're all gonna miss the little man. We like to watch him on video, that was for sure. He was a good one, but he's waiting on you in a special place, Lori. You know that. So, Biggs Prep's with us. All right. I wasn't able to watch your video at 7 o'clock. I'm sorry. Lady Prepper represented for me. She said it was a good one. So, got to take her word for it. That's for sure. Fluffy's in the house with us. All right. Good. Always good to see her. And she's always with us, and I really do appreciate that. But all right, let me get going here. I got a lot of stuff I want to cover tonight, and I'm gonna try to get it in as quick as I can. I don't want to take up too much of your time. I know some of you might be watching that football game, and hopefully you're listening to me and watching this, and you know that's your secondary. Is that playoff game they got going right now in Tampa. But last week I was going to show you, I made a video about a week and a half ago about making your own moisture absorbers. And we made up a batch of them here for our 5-gallon buckets. What this is just a coffee filter that we doubled over, and we put 100% silica cat litter inside. If you buy that 100% silica cat litter, that's the exact same thing that's in those little food packets. Moisture absorbers you buy, but it's a lot cheaper. I mean, you know, one this size, you know, it'd probably cost you, you know, $1 or $2 for, you know, the ones that fit in your 5-gallon buckets. But I mean, if you buy that bag of cat litter and that coffee filter, you know, you're probably going to be able to make 50, 60 of them, maybe 75 of them, depends on what you want, how much you want to put in them. So they work great. Been using them for years and never had a problem. Like I said, they work great. So, all right. Somebody last week mentioned that they dehydrated eggs, going by the video that Lady Prepper posted, but they said the egg powder got kind of sticky. Well, we found out that's because it was dehydrated at too high a temperature. You can't get over 135 degrees when you're doing that dehydration on those eggs. If you do,
they start to cook and they get sticky.
Yeah, if you do, they start to cook and they get a little sticky. That powder will stick together and start clumping on you. Even if you have moisture absorbers in it, it's going to clump on you. So just keep that temperature down, 130, 135, in that area right there. You won't have any problem dehydrating those eggs. So hopefully that'll help you out.
If you can find eggs to dehydrate.
Yeah, if you can find eggs to dehydrate. Lady Prepper went to the store today and there were just barely any eggs there at all. And what was there, of course, cost too much. So, you know, good luck with that. Hopefully you can find them. Fourth and goals with us. All right. Who we got here? Kate 27-320. Yep. Thanks for being with us. Appreciate you being here with us tonight. All right. But let's get on what we got going here. The federal government, you know, they keep telling us that the CPI is at like 6.1%, and which is ridiculous. they've already redefined the definition of a recession. So we won't be in one and make them look bad. But now they're going to adjust the way the CPI is calculated. That way they can bring that number down whenever they want. They're going to take a few items out that just keeps going up and up and up in price. So they just decided they'd take those out. So next month, you're going to see that number drop. Because like I said, the things that are going up the most, they're going to take them out of there. And your inflation number, your CPI number is going to be low. And they're going to, of course, they're going to pound their chest and brag about, look what we did. But not a lot of folks know that they're changing the calculation on that for their benefit. So you need to know that right off the bat. Also, kind of along those lines, the World Economic Forum gathered today for their annual meeting, and the news from there is not good. They're reporting that for the first time ever, more food is being consumed by humans than is being produced. It's never happened in our history. So they're basically just kind of setting you up for the food shortage that's coming, the one that they're responsible for, because they keep, pushing those green regulations and closing farms all over the world and, trying to set up standards to reduce emissions that's shutting down, food production and, fertilizer production. And it's all their fault, but they want you to know that, we're not producing as much, but you're eating too much. So basically they say they're trying to reduce carbon, but you got the one thing they're not telling you is the carbon they want to reduce is you. There's no doubt they're trying to reduce the population of the earth. That's what this is all about. And it's a damn joke because, it all falls in the line to with what government is. Government operates off tax dollars. So to get more tax dollars, they want more people. And now they've gotten to a point where they realize that's not going to work. So they have to reduce the people to make everything balance out. And so basically, like I said, you're the carbon they want to eliminate. So don't ever let them fool you. That's what's happening right there. But, let me get on to something here that I thought was kind of ridiculous. I'm not going to use that stupid word anymore. I've gotten a few emails from people that said they appreciate what I'm telling them, but they don't think I should use the word stupid. And so I'm gonna try to stick to that. But to me, it's what I said it was. But so we'll go on to something that is ridiculous, and that's this. Talk about a woke company going broke. Starbucks CEO tried to get his workers to come back to work just 3 days a week, and they refused to do it. They wouldn't even come back for 1 day a week. They're wanting to sit at home and play on their computers, and do their work from home. But instead of, taking action against them to get them back to work, they're just going with the flow. So guess what's going to happen in the end? Starbucks will cease to exist. It's going to take a little while, but that's what's going to happen. Tucker's wanting to talk. What's wrong with you, man? I'm doing something here. All right, but this is the perfect example of go woke, go broke right there. These people are outrageous. If I was the CEO and I said, you got to come to work to earn your pay, if they didn't show up, I'd just stop paying them. He don't have to fire them. He don't have to worry about it being like a union state or something like that. Just don't pay them. It's that simple. No, you're not fired. You're just not getting paid. But that's common sense. And there's not really a lot of that in the world nowadays. Work from home saves money for sure. Well, yeah, I'm sure it does somewhere down the road. But when the boss says, I need you to come to work, then you need to come to work. Or like I said, you don't get paid. Chris talking to Tucker.
Maybe Tucker was talking to Chris.
Maybe that was the other way around. But that's just one of the ridiculous things that I saw that, that people need to be paying attention to. It's ridiculous that these folks don't want to go back to work. They were hired to work. It's that simple. Another one was our genius in chief here. This man right here is the biggest joke in the history of this country. If you support him, let me tell you right now, just go on somewhere else. I mean, this guy is destroying this country. And if you support him, I don't want you supporting me. It's that simple. I mean, I love all of you. I appreciate every subscriber I get. But if you believe what this guy's preaching, you really need to do a serious self-evaluation. But he's threatened oil companies. He's going to charge them with war profiteering if they don't lower their prices. If they don't, then he's going to pop a big tax on them. And guess what that's going to do? It's going to cost me and you. It's that simple. These people don't think beyond the end of their nose. People running this country right now is a joke, and it's costing every one of us. It's just kind of ticking me off, but hey, that's okay. Let them do what they got to do. In the end, who's going to win? People that are ready for the foolishness they're forcing on this country. That's you and me. And hopefully the people we all love. You need to try to get them on board with you here. If they don't see what's coming by now, they'll never see it. So don't try to force the issue. But hey, I could be wrong. Maybe that tax is good for everybody. Just don't see it myself. Excuse me, please. All right, let's get into the things we came here to talk about. I was going to do a conceal carry, give you a couple tips. But first, I want to touch on this government shutdown that supposedly is coming up, which will never happen. We know what's going to happen. Republicans are going to talk a good game. Freedom Caucus is going to talk a good game. And in the end, they're going to, crumble and go ahead, get on board with it and let things go on like they've been going on. I was doing some research today and looking at some of the wasteful spending that our government's done in the last year. But there is so much stupid spending. Yeah, I said it, stupid spending. That's not a person. Spending. And you just need to go look at that. If you haven't, you need to really look at it. Good example is the 1.3 billion with a B they paid last year for vacations for federal employees. They were suspended and under investigation. If they're suspended and under investigation, they still have to pay them, which includes their vacation pay. $1.3 billion. Now multiply that by 100 and you'll see what's going on with all the wasteful spending in this country. It's just ridiculous. But the things that are going to keep functioning, even if they do go into a shutdown, are basically everything. Honestly, I mean, nobody can say line by line what's going to be shut down other than, national parks and museums, federal monuments, and God forbid you don't get to take a White House tour. But if they shut the government down, you're not going to be able to do that. If you want to go see where Joe's wasting our money, you won't be able to do that. But and they say that 2 to 3 million non-essential employees won't be able to go to work. I got no problem with that. If they're not essential, why in the hell are they on the payroll? It's that simple. If we don't need them, we don't need them. Save that money. That's crazy. But that's about the only thing. I didn't think about this. That's about the only thing that is really going to be impacted right up front. Beyond that, nobody knows. What's this? The whole forest is a national forest. They close it. Oh, so awful. Yeah, you have to leave home. I know you live up there in Ocala. They tell you got to go. I don't think so. But, the things that will continue to function You know, your postal service, you're still going to get your mail. FDA is still going to do their job. People that, the security for the power grid, of course, that's got to go on. The ones that I think really should be shut down and aren't are federal law enforcement and the IRS. Other than Border Patrol, they need to keep those there. They're essential. But as far as the alphabet soup companies and, the IRS, screw them. They can close that shit right now and never open it up again, and I'll be happy as a clam. I worked with the FBI many times. And I got to be honest, that's the dumbest bunch of sons of bitches I ever worked with, honestly. They're educated idiots. They have to have a college degree to be there. A lot of them have law degrees, but they don't know nothing about enforcing the law. And that's the biggest problem with that department. Did some work with a couple of other agencies back in the day, but that worked out okay. What else have we got here? Social Security and Medicare will continue to function. If you get your Social Security checks, you will continue to get your Social Security checks. If you're on Medicare and you have to, go see a doctor or the hospital or whatever, you can still do that. Everything will function the same. Plus, all federal medical facilities, the VA, whatever, they're going to function as normal. So there's not really going to be an impact beyond, like I said, you're not going to be able to go to the federal museums or federal parks. That 2 or 3 million people that really shouldn't be there anyway, they just have to stay at home. So me personally, I hope they shut it down. I really do. Shut it down. But we know they're not going to do that. GOP is going to cave like they always do. And they're going to act like they're doing something. You might see a shutdown on Friday, which is normal. They shut down on Friday and they open back up on Monday. So I'm surprised, it wasn't scheduled for this past week because it's a 3-day weekend for federal employees anyway, with the day being MLK Day. But, it'll happen. It might happen, but like I said, it'll be 2 or 3 days at the most. But let's get on to something important. Yes, they are a disgrace. That's an absolute fact. Everybody in our government is a disgrace. Everybody. You pick one or two, maybe that's good folks, but most of the time they go with the flow. They play the game. They're making the money. So it's all just a smoke and mirrors. If they're trying to put up a good face, like I said, that, they're not going to close it down for long if they do. Republicans will cave. But let me go on and get into this concealed carry stuff I wanted to help you out with today. Like I said, there's a lot of states now, 25 of them, should be 26. Florida should be concealed constitutional carry, but we're not because we have a bunch of candy-ass liberals in our state legislature. But, a lot of folks got guns for Christmas. A lot of people are buying them because they can carry them legally now in their states. So I wanted to touch on a couple of things that might be able to help you out and might save your life down the road. You never know, or save you from a jail sentence. But first thing I'm going to tell you is if you're going to carry a gun, get some training. Really, you need to train with that gun. Don't just buy one, go to the range and fire, 50 rounds, 100 rounds, then stick it on your hip and start walking around like you're wide earth. Don't do that. Get you some professional training with that firearm. Because down the road, if you ever have to use it, that training will actually help you, I promise you. And like I said, it might save you from going to jail one day. Because if you have to shoot somebody and you are arrested and tried, first thing, an attorney's going to say is, are you trained with that weapon? Were you trained with that weapon? You'll be able to say yes and shut that line of questioning down right away. Most NRA instructors will give you a certificate once you complete a course of training, and that will help you down the road. Possibly. You never know. You also might want to consider getting concealed carry insurance. There's several companies out there that will cover you legally if you do get into a self-defense situation and you're in one of those questionable situations and they're going to they arrest you, then that insurance will pay your bail and have an attorney waiting for you right there when you get out, and they'll start the process of defending you if it goes to court. Like I said, there's several of them out there. USCCA, Law Shield. There's 3 or 4 others. Just look that information up. Anything I tell you to look up on the internet, don't look it up on Google. Go to DuckDuckGo and look it up. ATF brace is a joke. That's not a law. I don't give a shit what anybody says. ATF don't make laws. They're not a legislative body. It's that simple. That's a rule. All right. Of course, the NRA is going to challenge that, and a couple of other pro-gun groups, they're going to challenge that, and they're going to win. The pistol brace thing is a joke. It's a damn joke.
Craig's comment, every bullet has an attorney attached to it.
That's right. If it's a good one or a bad one, it has an attorney attached to it. You want to get that training. That's why I'm saying to get training and get that insurance. You really do. You really do need that. I've had, God, I don't know how many hours of training. I can't tell you the number of people I've trained. And, I always tell them all, get that training. If you want to, get that insurance. But, that's just common sense. So let me move on to a couple other things here. You got to find the right gun if you're going to carry a gun. The first one you buy is not going to be the one you carry the rest of your life. You're not going to do it. It don't work that way. Buying a concealed carry weapon is like buying clothes. You got to find what fits you right, what feels good. And that first one's usually not the one. Don't go cheap. If you're going to buy a gun to carry, don't go cheap. Because if you don't pay much for it, it's gonna perform at a lower level than, higher quality weapons. You can buy good weapons for in the range of $400 to $600. You can find some really good weapons in there, but don't go cheap. If you do, it's going to perform cheap. Let me put it that way. But that first one you buy will not be your last one. I promise you. I got a buddy that I helped learn how to fire guns. He'd never fired a gun in his life. He decided he wanted to buy one for home protection. And after he carried it a while, that's a good point right there, Chris. After he had it a while, he decided he wanted to get his concealed carry permit, and he wanted me to train him. And like I said, your first gun's not going to be your last one. I think this weekend he bought his, what? Probably his 12th or 15th gun. You got to find one that fits. That's for sure. But he told me after he bought this one he's got now, he said, I think this is it. It's the one that I think this is the one I was looking for. But it's taken years and numerous weapons to get there. But hopefully he did. So Craig, yep, I worked with Craig, showed him a couple of exercises to help him out. If you get with a good trainer, it's easy and it's fun, and it's really fun. So let me move on here. What we got? You're going to have to change the way you dress. It's that simple. If you're going to carry a firearm, you have to change the way you dress. Unless you're already a slob, like me. Every shirt I wear is baggy. It's been that way since I was 20 years old because I've always had a gun on my hip. You can't wear those tight clothes if you got a gun on your hip. Which brings up another point. If you live in a open carry state, don't carry that gun open. Don't do it. You don't need to walk around looking like Wyatt Earp and prove you're somebody special. Because if you're in Walmart and some nut comes in there and wanting to shoot up the place, if he's got any kind of sense at all, he's going to take out the first person he sees with a firearm. That'll be you. Hide that firearm. Make sure you keep it hidden.
That's what's the best to carry, but that's just such a
well, that's up, that's up to you. You just have to get out there and find the one you like. Mm-hmm. And the good thing is, if you don't like the one you have, you can trade it in on that new one and get a little for it. It's like buying a new car. You get to trade it in. Me, I carry a Kimber Micro 9mm on my hip. Also carry an extra magazine. I know it's, a lot of people say, well, if I can't take them out with 6, and, I'm just a dead man. Well, okay, hero, you be a dead man. But, I've laid down suppression fire before, and I'll do it again. I don't have to hit you to keep your head down. I just got to keep firing. So that's just the way I look at it. But a good one to start with. I will tell you a good one to start with. Get you a good little revolver. Lightweight revolver, because the thing with those is when you pull that trigger, it's going to fire. You don't have to worry about any kind of, clearing the chamber on a misfire or clearing a stovepipe out of the port or nothing like that. Get you a good little lightweight revolver, stick it on your hip. And like I said, when you pull that trigger, it's going to fire. You can get a good Taurus Model 85 probably for $350. But that's one of the few guns under $400 I would recommend. What we got here? Can't breathe, can't see, can't fight. That's right. There you go. But keep that gun hidden when you do have it. Another thing that I'm going to highly recommend is don't carry one in a bag or over your shoulder or a purse. You want that gun on your person. All right. Carry it on your hip somewhere. Carry it somewhere, because if you have it in your bag and somebody snatches your bag, guess what? You just armed that person. But if you got it on your hip, it's going to take a little bit of effort to get it off of you. That's the voice of experience, folks. I don't know how many times I had to fight somebody and they were trying to get my gun from me. Thank goodness they never got it. But like I said, that's just the voice of experience. Keep it on your body if you're going to carry it.
You've done a video on concealed firearms, haven't you, Chris Hess?
I don't know. No, I don't think I did one on concealed firearms. I did one on home defense. That was a long time ago. Back before I knew actually how to make things look this good. That was back when I first thought, I could turn this little Google machine on and sit there and talk, and everything would be fine. So it really wasn't a good quality video. I might redo that one. But if you want me to do one on concealed carry, I can do that. I mean, like I said, I've trained people for years how to do it. Don't mind doing it. Did it myself for, good God, 45 years of my life. So I pretty much know how to do it. All right, Chris, I'm going to do that. I'm going to put one together this week. Promise you. So look for it. That's a good one to do. I think everybody needs it. Especially, like I said, so many people can do it now. You need to do it. So another thing you got to do is you got to have a good belt and you got to have a good holster. Can't go cheap on those either. For me, I like a leather holster. I like a speed holster. It don't have a snap on the top, but it's good and tight and it holds it close to your body. That's one I'll show in the video I'll make. You can just pull it out and start rocking and rolling when you have to. But another thing is a good belt. You got to have, if you're going to wear a holster, you got to have something to hold it up. That's for sure. A lot of folks are going with the Kydex holsters now. They're good. I got some of those. And I used to carry them, but I went back to my leather holsters that, I used to wear back in the day, and maybe that's just me, personal preference. I just like a good leather holster that's going to, hold, like I said, hold the gun close to your body, and it's easy to operate out of. I'm not saying Kydex is bad. I'm just saying I prefer leather. You got to, another thing I'm going to recommend is, I'll show it in the video I'm going to do. You wear a gun on your hip. If you stand up and say you're wearing a pair of jeans or pretty much any kind of pants, there's a seam that goes down the side of your leg. That's where you want that holster, right above that seam. Because when you're standing, that's where your arms are hanging. And if you ever have to pull that gun quick, it's easier to access it from right there off the middle of your hip. Just that seam of your pants. Until you get used to carrying it, a little different. I carry mine back a little bit from that seam, but like I said, that's 45 years of carrying guns. That's just where I learned I can operate quicker. Whatever's best for you. But you really need to, when you're first starting to carry it there, carry it in that position. Another thing you absolutely have to understand is your degree of responsibility. Because when you're carrying a gun, you can take somebody's life with it. And I'm telling you right now, folks, that ain't fun. It gets easier, but it ain't fun, no matter how many times you do it. It wears on you, but if you have to do it, you have to do it. So you gotta think through that process, the responsibility of why you are carrying that gun. Are you carrying it to protect yourself, your loved ones, or everybody around you? If you're in again, I'll give another example, a Walmart, because there's been a couple of shootings at a Walmart. If you hear shots starting to pop off 3 or 4 rows over, what's your responsibility? Is it to use that weapon to protect you and whoever's with you, or to go take out that bad guy? No, it is not to take out that bad guy. You're not carrying it to be a hero. You're carrying it to defend yourself. Always remember that. It's better, to just pull your gun, back out, find that closest exit. Whoever's with you, make sure they are behind you, but you're between them and that person that you think's firing that weapon. That's your responsibility. You're not a police officer. You're not being paid to go take that guy out. But you do love who's with you. You love yourself. If you don't, you got a problem. So take care of yourself and your loved ones first. Don't matter. I mean, I hate to say it. I do hate to say it, but it's reality. It don't matter if 14 people die. As long as you get out safe, that's your responsibility. You have to think that way. Don't think about being a hero. That's not what that's about. That's harsh, but it's reality. Believe me, I've been there. I know. Believe me. So I'm going to get off of this right quick. I'm going to leave you with one more tip. Practice a lot. Do it a lot. You can't go to the gun range 2 or 3 times a year and expect to be proficient with that firearm. Practice as often as you can. I know it's expensive. Ammo's not cheap. It used to be, but it's not anymore. But here's something you might want to do. Here's another little tip. The gun I carry, I have the same gun in 22 caliber. So I can get that cheap 22 caliber ammo and I can practice with it. That's a lot cheaper than shooting 9mm. But it's the same frame, I'm on the same target, and it's a lot cheaper that way. If you can't get the exact same firearm in 22 caliber, get something close to it. What you want to get proficient with is pulling that weapon, getting up on target, and pulling that trigger. But get it as close to your carry gun as you possibly can. That'll save you, a lot of effort in readjusting your sight if you ever have to actually shoot in self-defense. Plus, you want to learn to point shoot. Once your muscle memory gets to where you can get up on the target and you're shooting pretty good on target using those sights, stop using the sights and just come up and just point and shoot. That's street survival, and that's the kind of situation you're going to be in. But I'm going to say it again before I get out of here. Practice. If you got one, practice. Don't think you're proficient just because you bought it and you shot 200 or 300 rounds through it. Get out there and do it, folks. But pay attention to what's going on around us. Every day, things are getting worse. They're not getting better, and they're not going to. Pay attention to what the World Economic Forum is doing this week. They like to tell you what's coming for humanity because they are the actual rules makers. They're the people that control the money, and that's who controls the politicians. So pay attention to what they say. Keep watching the channels you're watching here. Hopefully mine's one of them. If you like what you see here, hit that subscribe button for me. Like it says right there in the scroll, you got to hit it twice and then click all. I'd appreciate it. If you got any questions about any of these firearms situations, or what kind of gun you might want to get, or what you need for home defense, shoot me an email, theorlandoprepper@gmail.com. I'm going to put that video together for Chris, and hopefully you guys will drop in and take a look at it. I'm going to just show you a couple of tips instead of just sitting here talking about them. Hopefully that'll help you out. But with that, I'm going to get out of here and finish my apple juice. So I'm going to say, stay strong, stay patriotic to the founding principles of this country. I'm going to push this little red button right here, and I'm going to go away in just a second. Pray for the United States of America. Orlando Prepper is out.